Welcome to the CRollur and Willy podcast. I am CRollur.
And I'm Willy.
And we're going to talk through some shit.
What you got for us, CRollur?
We got a lot of things in common that connect us. Like we have our work, we have TikTok, we have this podcast. And one of those things is anime. And I was wondering, how did you get into anime? Because for me, I got in through my sister who made me watch through Fruits Basket and Inuyasha.
I hate Fruit.
You hated it?
Yeah, I hated Fruit.
It was all right. But then I didn't really get into it until I started watching Bleach.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you my childhood, right? You remember Toonami?
Toonami? Yeah, I remember that.
So that's what got me in anime. When you had Dragon Ball Z, then you had Sailor Moon. Can't remember what else was on there, but that really started my fascination with anime. Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball? Who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Probably Vegeta.
Vegeta,
because he was a bad guy, then he turns into a good guy later on, and he's always in competition with Goku.
That's an interesting take. I've always been partial to Goku, although
everyone likes Goku.
To be fair though, I don't watch that much Dragon Ball, so I wouldn't say I'm that much of a fan of Dragon Ball.
I wanted to point something out too. There was a show called Hamtaro, right? It was a bunch of hamsters always up to no good, and they're always escaping their cages and hanging out with each other.
Yeah, I watched
and I thought it was so cute. Because the fact is, it just teaches you to respect people and how to deal with bad situations, but be good about it.
Yeah, did you know that show, it was a manga, and then it became an anime show, and then a couple game spinoffs?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it had a couple game spinoffs.
Yeah, but that Hamtaro was very popular in Japan, but not so much here in America. I don't know. I thought the show was really good. I hate to say it.
But speaking of favorites, I answered a question on TikTok recently. What is your favorite song? Now, I couldn't necessarily pick one out of every song I've ever listened to. I chose to highlight a particular artist.
Okay.
Yeah, a particular artist, and then I chose one of the favorite songs from that artist.
What song was it?
It was Dirty by September Morning.
Never heard it. Would you be able to play the song?
I could play a little bit of it.
Don't like it.
It might not be your taste, but what artists and songs do you like?
My personal opinion on this one is The Weeknd, and I like the song In Your Eyes. I think that's probably one of the best songs out there.
Do you ever get to the point where you're recording a TikTok and you hear your voice and you just don't like it?
Yeah, actually, I get that on every video because in my head, my voice sounds deeper than what it actually is. But then when I actually record a video that I listen to myself, I'm like, I sound like a high-pitched high school person, and I don't like it. I mean, I don't know if anyone ever deal with this, because when I do videos, I feel like my voice is manly and masculine, but then when I listen to it, it sounds like ee.
That's kind of funny. But I've actually found, I watched a YouTube video where they explained why you don't recognize your own voice and why you might not like it. And their explanation was that you hear your voice as it comes out of your mouth. It also reverberates through your own head. And you hear the deeper parts of your voice that through your mouth and through your bones and everything. You hear it's deeper to you than it is being recorded. So when you hear it play back, you're hearing the higher parts that you don't hear as much. You're hearing a lot more lower parts. They're still there, but there's not as much of them. It's not reverbing in the microphone as much as it is through your own head. It's going to feel a lot higher when you're recording it, a lot higher pitch.
Right. And just give you the heads up, I did watch a SciShow video on YouTube about that. Guy explained it.
That might actually be where I saw it.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. It was
another thing we have in common is we tend to watch SciShow.
Yeah, I watch SciShow.
But the other thing I found through just watching various creators and then going back and watching their old content is the more you do it, the more you tone your voice to be more pleasant on the microphone. The more you hear yourself talk, the more you change your voice.
I think what my problem is, when I'm on camera or talking on the mic, my problem is I get super excited and my voice changes from up here, here. So 1 minute it could be low, then 1 minute it's Bart!
I mean, it's not bad to get excited and energetic because, that actually is a good thing I found when it comes to engagement of audiences. Is people will love like when you get excited and energetic because like it makes them excited and energetic. But you do tend to shift in tone when you do that.
How stupid would you sound like if you're talking to someone, right, and you tell a funny joke and your voice stayed the same, like a horse went to a bar and the bartender said, "Why a long face?" It's not as funny. But when you're like, a horse goes in the bar and the bartender's like, "Why a long face?"
Yeah, that definitely helps. Although I know one use of monotone voice that was great. That was Clear Eyes. All the Clear Eyes commercials, man.
Yeah, but they're not like trying to be funny.
They did the monotone voice on purpose to be funny, to be ironic.
Right. And you got clear, fresh, scented.
Now we're going into Old Spice. That definitely changes tones a lot.
Yep.
You know when you buy a new TV, because I'm looking for a new TV, and I'm debating between LG and Samsung.
You had to go with Samsung. There's no competition on the LG to the Samsung. If you get the 4K Samsung, yeah, it's like a little overpriced, but it will last a little bit longer than what the LG will.
But here's the thing.
Elements, I had Elements before. They lasted a little bit, but the quality of it was junk. Like, if it falls off the table because a cat knocked it over.
Well, Elements is a cheap brand, and I will not buy a cheap brand. I bought a Vizio, and it was a piece of shit. That's another cheap brand.
Vizio's a cheap brand, but they overpriced.
I think Element is actually probably just better for cheap brands just because it is an inclusive smart TV that's actually meant to be sold through Amazon.
It's depending on how much you plan on spending. Like, are you looking at like the $400 range? Are you looking at $800? You're looking at $1,200? Like, what
I'm looking for something to replace my gaming, which is kind of why I'm actually debating between Samsung and LG. Because LG actually has higher refresh rates because they use QNED. They also have OLED. LG is the only one that makes it. Even though Samsung and Sony both have TVs that have OLED, their panels are still LG regardless.
Well, can I say something real quick? If you're using it as a gaming monitor,
I'm using it for gaming for like PlayStation and Xbox,
okay. Well,
not for PC.
Okay, well, if you're going to use it for your gaming on a PS5 or the new Xbox, I don't know about because I don't play video games, do not get the Element. Do not get any cheap brands because you need the high pixels on those TV screens.
Well, it's not just the high pixels, it's also the high refresh rate.
There's a delay on them too. There's a delay on online gaming also.
That's not a good thing. Having delay is definitely not a good thing.
No, when you get delay, a lot of gamers, what they would use is a monitor, computer monitor, just get rid of that delay. And that's why you see a lot of these people on PlayStation and Xbox having more quicker reaction because when you're using a TV, you get a little bit more delay.
That depends on what computer monitors you get. A lot of computer monitors have extremely high refresh rates. And regular TVs are just catching up to that. But you have to get like the most expensive TVs out there currently. Well, I guess not all
or
of them,
you can just go out and get a $500 monitor. And
not all of them have to be, but you're looking for 120 hertz to keep up with PC players. And unfortunately, those tend to be the more expensive TVs.
Right, but now you got like these games that, making it where the servers are PC, Xbox, PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah.
Now all these console players are having a hard time trying to compete with these people on PC.
They do give aim assist for FPS because using a controller with a thumbstick, you could way easily overshoot. Whereas if you're using a mouse, it is exactly where you stop it.
Yeah, but I'm just going to let you know, when you're used to that keyboard and mouse, you have the advantage.
I mean, I'm saying, yeah, you have an advantage, but
then it's unfair.
I would like to think that they try to make it as fair as possible, but I don't think it's completely fair. You're right. It'll never be completely fair, but they try to set systems in place to make it more fair.
Well, I like the fact that if you have a friend that don't own a console and just have a computer or a PC, you can play with them. But I just feel like when you have a group of people, all on PC, they have an unfair advantage on certain games.
That's actually why I think Destiny has it that you can't play against a PC person if you have an all-console party. But if you have one PC person in your party, you'll be matched up against PC and console people alike.
I actually like that. Because, I didn't know Destiny did that.
Yeah, Destiny did that. That's how they did it for matchmaking purposes. So another thing I found on TikTok, I found this video on TikTok. First of all, I wanted to address like what type of podcast this is. We are a podcast. We're not trying to be political in any sort of sense. We just want to take our experiences and our knowledge and apply it to different topics. But I did see a clip from another podcast out there that I kind of have to talk about because it makes pretty much all podcasts look bad, how dumb some podcasts can be. You want to bring it up on the phone?
Yep. So what we're looking at right here is these guys right here.
I think if you're in a serious relationship with a girl, she should not have an Instagram. That's cheating, in my opinion. I think a woman having an Instagram is 100% cheating, especially if she has scantily clad photos of herself on the internet and she's not making money off of it, which a lot of women tend to do.
The guy is somewhat right, but not 100%. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's less about having a social media account because you can't just tell your partner not to have a social media account.
Well, you gotta give your...
It's what you're doing with it that's the problem. And I don't think most people are out there cheating just because they have an Instagram.
Right. And the problem is, I got a ring.
He's going to say that they're showing off body parts and everything else, but like...
No, what is going on with this? That guy, he's a control freak. I don't like him.
I 100% agree.
I don't like him. He's a fucking dickhead. He's like, no, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. No.
I 100% agree with
Women
that.
should not have men like that because guys like that are control freaks. They will control your lives on a daily basis. And no.
Like, I see it as if you cannot trust that person on social media, then you shouldn't be with them to begin with. And honestly, that person's better off without you anyway. I've never had a problem with somebody having a social media account. If I don't feel like I can trust them, that's my problem to deal with. And if they are being untrustworthy, that's still my problem to deal with because I don't want to be in that relationship with somebody I cannot trust.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be a dickhead to that guy, but he just sounds like a manipulative fuck. Hate to say it, like, sorry to that guy, but fuck you. CRollur and me, we have a competition going on probably here around June, maybe July. We have a paintball thing going on, and we want to see what kind of equipment would be best for the match. I was fortunate enough that I had 6 people or 6 members join my group.
I think we're just...
CRollur, he did the same thing.
Actually, I think I'm just going to combine whoever I found, and we're just going to go as one giant group and divvy it up.
Oh, we can do that. We can do that.
'Cause-
So, what kind of paintball marker are you planning on using?
I plan on using a Titman, which is currently, as I can tell, out of business, but they made really good low-end market markers, I guess.
Which Titman you got, the model?
I had a 98 custom, and then I now have the A5.
What's the difference between the model 98 and the custom 98 and then the A5?
The model 98, you were unable to like put reactive trigger and expansion chambers and all that.
So
other
you can
stuff on
customize it.
Yes, you can customize it. It has the rail on top, I believe, to add stuff to it.
See, someone like that, he's going to customize his just to win this one. So
Actually, I'm probably, other than a response trigger, I'm not going to customize it too much because there's no need for an expansion chamber on an A5, especially if you're going with a nitrogen or a high pressure HPA system rather than a CO2. CO2 will freeze up around here because it gets cold. Even in the summer, it could freeze up, but really,
I didn't know that.
In the fall and spring, it's still cold.
CO2 actually freezes in cold weather?
Yeah, like it's compressed, so it's liquid, and then when it hits,
Oh,
when
no
it
shit.
expands,
That's why I've been having problems.
when it expands, it turns into a solid and freezes up.
Oh, no shit. I wish I would have known that years ago.
HPA is the new way to go, and you get that pretty much any.
Is that like a nitrogen gas?
Yeah, it's like a nitrogen gas, highly compressed, like an air compressor, but with mostly nitrogen. They take the water out of it, is what they do.
Well, my goal is I'm going to get me a spider.
I've never liked spiders.
Why?
First of all, I've seen too many of them break down, and also the only dude I knew that continuously carried one was a dick.
Well,
I don't think you're a dick, but just that ruined it for me entirely.
Well, I'll tell you what though, I'll get a spider, then I'll be the dick. Then if my gun malfunctions, in the speedball course, and you can shoot me. It sounds
If your gun malfunctions, I'm not going to shoot you. I'll come up on you, make you give. I'll be like, I got you. Give or I will shoot.
I don't know. We'll see. If you guys want to see this paintball match, just watch it. We're going to record it.
That'll probably end up on my YouTube, maybe on my TikTok, but I'm not positive. So follow CRollur.
Yeah, follow CRollur because I'm not going to record it because I'm going to carry my phone on me. So I won't be able to record it. Favorite Disney movies as a kid, like anything from the 90s to early 2000s. Like, what is everyone's favorite Disney movie? Actually, I want to include the 80s too, because they got some good 80s movies.
Here's the thing. I'm actually going to include on the podcast a question for this. So if you're listening to this, go ahead and provide your answer. My favorite movie, we talked about this, and I think you disagree with me on it being the best, but my favorite is The Lion King.
Did you know that The Lion King showed things being Nazis? Like, you see the hyenas marching like in a square, and when Scar was singing, then Scar is a jealous person, killed his own brother, then, he tried to take over the pride.
I guess that particular scene was intended.
They claim that Scar was the most evilest Disney character to begin with.
I don't know 100% if that's true, but
it was him or Jafar from Aladdin.
I'm leaning towards Jafar, but Scar, I guess he definitely did betray his own family, so that is pretty freaking evil. But going back to the whole Nazi thing, sure, they marched in a way that looked similar to that, but I think it was literally just as an iconic way of capturing these are the bad guys of the movie. All right, so when did that movie come out? Do you know? It was 1994.
1994, the fall of the Soviet Union, 2 years after the fall of the Soviet Union. So they're showing that to show strength and everything, in Disney movies.
I think it's to portray the evil as evil. That is something that I think a lot of people tend to miss out on when they come up with a lot of these things where they're offended by that stuff.
Right. I'm not offended of it, but
I know, you might not be, but some people will look at that and be like, oh, they're portraying Nazis. I'm like, but there's a reason. They're making evil look evil.
All right, so you know what my favorite Disney movie is?
What is it?
Hercules.
Hercules? That's not a bad movie. It's just not my favorite.
Well, I like the music.
Music's fairly cool.
Yeah, the music's really good. And actually, my number 2 would be Tarzan, because Tarzan was a really good movie.
Thanks for watching our podcast, CRollur and Willy.
Willie McD.
Willie McD.
Willie McD. Sound like a KFC chicken. So we love you guys, and we're gonna take off. Bye.